Thank you. I'm so glad you could join us for Veterans, The Road to Success. This is a news and information program designed for veterans, their families, and dependents to get them on the road to success. Please let me introduce my co-host, fellow veteran, former Marine, Charlie Duquette. Charlie?
Hey, Ted, thanks for having me tonight.
Great to see you, sir.
I really appreciate that, I am glad to be here on this program, Veterans Road to Success. And as you said, it's great to hear what, that you are doing these type of programs. But more importantly, we're both called veterans reps, or vet reps for short, from time to time. Could you tell the viewers, what do you think the similarities and the differences are between yourself, a veteran service officer for the town, and myself, a local veterans employment rep at a career center? Sure,
that's a great question, Charlie. Thank you. The similarities are obvious. We're both former veterans who enjoy and are blessed to be helping other veterans. Mm-hmm. The differences, as I see, are not major because, again, it all involves assistance to the veteran. But I think it's relative to the organizations that we work for. In other words, if a veteran comes to you seeking assistance with employment or training, mm-hmm. he's come to the right office and come to the right man. If he comes to you seeking assistance financially or medically or any VA federal benefits such as that, you refer them down to me. Mm-hmm. So it's a great symbiotic relationship. Mm-hmm. Depending on what the veteran's looking for, they can access the assistance they need at your office or at my office. So I think that's just a great combination of services being provided at the highest professional level by both you and I.
So at the end of the day?
At the end of the day, Charlie, we're doing what we love. We're serving those who served.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. That's a great answer. Now, we know that some of the differences and similarities that we just talked about between the VSO, as we call them, and the local veterans rep at the Career Center. But let me ask you, whoever the vet works with, all right, what is that first question that vet is going to have to deal with?
It's the most important question, Charlie. May I see a copy of your DD-214?
Your separation
and
papers?
Honorable discharge.
Okay.
Must have honorable service on it to access the majority of programs that we're discussing. And what that is an opportunity for the veteran to prove to both of us and make himself eligible for benefits and services. Mm-hmm. Now, we have access to the National Personnel Records Center down in St. Louis, Missouri. And what we can do is send a request down, a written request, or go on computer under EREX and request a copy of that DD-214, which starts the ball rolling and unlocks the key.
Is that the only thing you can usually get, or are there other kind of papers at work they might need?
There are, Charlie. Depending on what type of services are required, we can get copies of the veteran's medical record if he has to prove proof of illness,
service-connected disability,
exactly right,
something
Charlie,
like that.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And also personnel records. If he claims that he was in Abu Dhabi or Qatar or Kuwait or Iraq when illness or injury occurred, he needs to show a copy of his orders stating that in fact did happen. He's got orders saying that I went there. So medical records, personnel records, discharge papers, all critical pieces of information and documentation that both you and I require.
Okay, so they're all important military records. I can see that. Now, what are most of the vets who visit you typically during the day when they come down to the town hall? What are they looking for most of the time?
Yeah, there's two categories that we deal with a lot. First of all, let me say this. If they come to me looking for employment and training issues, they're up the street to see you.
There you go.
But other than that, it would be the federal side, which is the VA system, and the state side, because Massachusetts is very good in helping veterans and providing services and benefits on the state level.
All right.
But VA stuff, they're looking for copies of their discharge, as we discussed. They need to access the medical side and enroll in the VA healthcare system for benefits and prescriptions and just healthcare in general. Or they need to file a claim for compensation and pension for injuries or illnesses incurred while they're on active duty.
And what's the name of that form? Because the VA has so many forms. What do you use?
Well, if we're going to file a claim for compensation, it's VA Form 21-526.
Okay.
And you know form names, Charlie. There's just a million numbers out there.
So just to help root through the different forms, like I've heard of a VA Form 1010. What is that for?
1010, that's a great question. And the answer is that's the medical side. If you need to enroll in the healthcare system and get a doctor at the VA hospital in West Roxbury, it's Form 1010 EZ. That's the one we fill out and submit to them.
Oh, okay, great. Now, I think those are all good points, and what's good about video is you can, once you get it, you can replay it, right? Now, I understand in Massachusetts, we actually have, you've mentioned the state's very veteran-friendly, but I understand we have a long history, goes way back, taking care of our military members and their families. Is that true from what your experience shows you?
It's absolutely true, Charlie, and by far and away, we are the leader in providing state benefits to our veterans who are honorably discharged. The origins of the program that I administer, which is Chapter 115 of Massachusetts General Law, go back and have its origins, good Lord, pre-Revolutionary War days. They really came to the front at the end of the Civil War, where we had Union soldiers standing on the street corners across the Commonwealth, indigent and begging for arms. Wow. The situation was totally unacceptable to the Great and General Court and the majority of the population in the Commonwealth. So the Great and General Court, in their infinite wisdom and foresight, founded the basis of our Chapter 115 program that we have today. Which
it's a Massachusetts general law, right?
It is a general law, and it says that the essence of it is no honorably discharged veteran in Massachusetts will ever stand in a welfare line with the rest of the population. If they require emergency financial assistance through no fault of their own, they come to the Veteran Service Officer in each individual city and town for confidential and respectful and individual service and financial relief.
And you were talking before we started the program that the Commonwealth basically was a covenant. It was an agreement that if the militiamen promised and covenanted and agreed to protect the Commonwealth against all enemies, that they would take care of their family and their farms. And that, I guess that grew out of it.
It did.
And in fact, I did a little research that you were pointing me to, and they developed that state law, passing the Massachusetts Militia Act way back in 1647. Being a history teacher, I thought that was fantastic.
As I said, the foresight of the Great and General Court, even before the court was founded, just the leaders in Massachusetts recognized that veterans who serve their country and their town and community honorably are special people. I mean, they are the ones who will go and stand on that wall, Charlie, and they will protect the rest of us. And like for that, they deserve special treatment.
Right, and as that movie says, you need people like me on the wall.
To stand on that wall.
Okay. Now, for those vets who might not know the abbreviations, you hear this a lot, VR and E. Do you happen to know what that abbreviation stands for?
I do, and again, it's a federal benefit from the VA side, Vocational Rehabilitation and Employment Program. What it does, Charlie, in essence is, I think it's fantastic. I call it the hidden jewel of the compensatory system, because what they will do is schedule, it's a one-page application. How easy is that? You will go in and speak with an employment and a training counselor individually at the JFK building, and they will discuss and plan a program of training and education for you, and then the VA will pick up the tab.
Now, there are some eligibility to that.
There are indeed.
Okay,
I think
what's that?
The minimum, in most cases, the minimum is a requirement is a 20% disability or greater. In some cases, based on individual basis, they will make that determination with a 10% disability. But primarily it is for disabled
You have to
veterans.
have another need or others.
That's exactly right.
Mitigating circumstances.
That's exactly
okay.
right. And many times it's relative to the disability that you have.
Well, where can vets find out more details about Voc Rehab, as I've heard it called? They can visit you or me.
They can.
I'm going to probably steer them more towards you,
which is
but I can give them some information. But where would they go? I see that we have a slide that's going to come up, so get ready to write this down.
Right.
What's the website? Do you see that there?
Well, the website is remarkable in the fact that it's easy to navigate and has a ton of information. It's www.va.gov. That's the opening door, that's the portal. From there, you're a click away from just
defining
about virtually any type of benefit or service.
Well, that's easy to remember. That's very easy.
It is easy to remember. va.gov.
Hey, now on a lighter moment, well, not a lighter moment, but something new's in the wind. There is hope and change. Before we were on the air, we were rapping a little bit, and about a new program that's come down the pike. Could you tell the viewers in some of the details about this program we were rapping about?
The Veterans Retraining Assistance Program is abbreviated VRAP. Boy, right on. To be eligible for VRAP, there are a couple of qualifications and eligibility requirements. You have to be between 35 and 60 years of age.
So this is for the veterans that were in that gray area.
Exactly right.
Like we were in the Vietnam era, so we got the Vietnam era GI Bill.
Exactly right.
We have the post 9/11. It's kind of like for the Desert Stormers and the people in
and
the
the Cold War veterans as well. They have honorable service just as we do.
Right.
In some cases, 5, 6, and 8 years. You know.
Right.
They should be granted benefits and services as well, even though they didn't have wartime service at that time. I always say, you take that captain under NORAD with a key around his neck and tell him we're not at war.
Right, exactly.
He knows we are. So this program is new, it's innovative, and it's designed.
What about the 214? They have to have what kind of discharge?
It's got to be an honorable discharge. It can't be anything else but an honorable discharge.
Okay, so it can't be a dishonorable discharge.
No, sir, it cannot.
Okay. What else? What are some of the other key points?
Well, the reason that he's there seeking this assistance is that he's unemployed.
Right, so he has to be unemployed when they put in for it.
He can't be working.
Okay, what else?
He can't be eligible for any other VA educational program. So if a guy was a Cold War warrior and served in the 80s, he's not eligible for the Vietnam Education Assistance Program.
And he's timed out on the Montgomery GI Bill.
Correct, sir, correct. So now he's eligible, he falls under this program, and he's not eligible for any other program.
Okay, gotcha. And what else? Not in receipt of what? Any kind of...
VA compensation for unemployability. There are cases where the numeric value can be a 70-cent disability, but you can be granted unemployability, individual unemployability.
Because of your situation.
That's correct.
Okay, gotcha. And obviously it can't be enrolled in my state program.
No, sir.
That's a no-no.
Or a federal program either.
Gotcha. Now we know a little bit about what the VSO does, right?
Well, that tosses it to me, Charlie. What I want to know is, now that we do know a rough outline of what we do individually across the Commonwealth and the cities and towns, why don't you give us an overview of what a veterans representative does at the One Stop Career Center?
Well, first of all, just like yourself, I'm really honored. It's basically my occupation to be working with veterans at a facility that really cares and has super professional people. I actually have 5 veterans on my staff at the local Career One Stop Center here in Norwood. And we have some superb instructors, facilitators, whatever you want to call them. And I see that the eligibility, I oversee to make sure that the eligible veterans get priority service just like yourself, that they're not standing in line and want at the One Stops. And we also help them to get head of the line privileges for like 48 hours on the job referral line on some of the like Vet Central, places like that. So, we join together and we work together on that veterans road to success. And we are there not just to help a vet get a job. We assist and facilitate and train job seekers in how to find a position. But as you know, in these economic times, people sit there and they say, I just want a job, and when you think about it, JOB often can stand for just over broke. So we prefer to help the veteran and their families and anybody else actually, and to finding a career fulfilling position. Because if they get a career fulfilling position, they're not going to be back in 90 days, okay? They're going to be on a new career. Now, many of you watching could get a job. I used to joke, would you like fries with that? And a good friend of mine, Leroy, corrected me and he said, well, I know a gentleman owns a few McDonald's, and he said, you know what the average manager at his stores make? I said, no, I don't. He says, about $75,000, $80,000 a year. And I said, okay, where's the application? I was going to sign up.
There you go.
The first question that you have to ask yourself is an assessment. You have to say, where do I want to go from here? Our goal on the road to success is to give you a map and with our knowledge of the area. Thinking if you go to an area where you don't know the area, you're going to ask somebody that's lived there and knows when the rush hour, and don't stay off of 128, right? Same thing professionally as career advisors. We're those people with the local knowledge of the traffic patterns and the shortcuts and things like that. Now, our mission is not to drive your family car. We're not the chauffeur, but we're going to guide you and direct you and help you to get where you want to go, to that career fulfilling position. Now, you're in a position to accept new and challenging responsibilities. That's what I always told people. It sounds a lot better, by the way, than saying I'm between jobs or whatever. And the other thing is everybody on the staff at the Career Center can look you right in the eye and say, I have sat where you have sat. I know what you're going through, and be honest about it. Now, think about the road to success, Ted, like a cruise ship. manned by a caring crew that's going to help you unfold that deck chair and point you in the direction of that destination that you want to go to, and basically get you that career destination. Now, in the days now, we have our GPS to help guide us, right? I think we should change that. Instead of global positioning service, we should call it good professional services. And that's what the veteran and other people need to get to where they want to go to get that career fulfilling position.
That's great.
You know, it's all about quality employment and training resources. That's what we provide, not only here, but in over 30 other one-stop career centers in Massachusetts. On the road to success, a segment that we're doing here, we're going to talk about things dealing with stress. It's very stressful to lose your job. It's very stressful to look for a job. And it's very stressful when you get a job because you're going to go, oh my God, I might lose it. So you know what that means? Life is very stressful. Well, we actually have a workshop with that. And we want to teach you about the importance of short-term and long-term goals. That's always important. As stressful as a position that you might be in, you have to think about it. You know, I have to be able to deal with it. In the military, we're always under stress and pressure,
as you
right?
know, Charlie, you know, we take a step back further to when we were young men and women and serving our country. Serving in the military is incredibly stressful. It's the nature of the job. You know, and oftentimes, my own case, I was TDY for 2 years. Never selling in one place more than the longest duty school I went to was 6 months. The shortest was 3 weeks. What happens to simple things like the mail?
Right.
You know, how does your family get in touch with you?
I wouldn't feel right if I wasn't doing an address change every few weeks. You know,
exactly
something's wrong here, you know?
But so this is something you and I, again, off camera, were talking about. Your organization has mechanisms in play, don't they?
Right, exactly. And, you know, you think about it, even our ancestors, they came over here. It was a very stressful, whether it was the boat or whatever, very stressful to come to another country, new language, new culture. But they wanted to get on that road because they knew there was success at the end of that road.
That's right.
You know, and it's our job to help to make a smooth move and a smooth transition. And I actually worked with the Transition Assistance Program with the military, and that's where I really found my love there. Another workshop that we have is how to manage your job search. A lot of people don't know where to start. It addresses, you know, how you put together an effective career action plan. You got to have a plan. You know, you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And it addresses importance of goals and that goal setting we talked about. And it's important that you set goals because remember, goals are just dreams with deadlines. You know, when you think about it. You know, I stole that from somebody. But
boy, that's great.
Isn't it true, though? It really is. You know, and think about it. We can draw from our military experience, the skills that we learned in basic training when we were on those yellow footprints. That was kind of a workshop in itself. But we had a little assistance from our helpful drill instructors that would guide us and mentor us to the right direction. Hurry up, hurry up. So, you know, that was good. You know, we learned that way. Now, we're not exactly like that.
We learned quickly.
But we developed an attitude that led to positive change. And if we didn't, we were in the hurt locker, okay? Now, on this road trip of life, we're going to look at how you can develop and create your personalized career strategy for success. We're going to look at things like you have to start out with a personal assessment. What can I do? What do I want to do? You know, that type of thing.
Exactly.
Personal marketing plans. You know, how do you personally market yourself as a product? Job search know-how, the knuckles and know-how of actually getting a job. It changes. You know, in 1988, it was a little bit different than it is now.
It was.
Question number one, what can I do? Right? Think about it.
Well, the numbers that I heard, Charlie, are more than 80% of the military occupation specialties available to our young men and women today have civilian equivalents, which is very, very important for young men and women to realize, to think about when they are considering the military as a career. In such diverse job fields as food service.
Everybody's got to eat,
you know, in the skilled trades, grab a hammer, grab a
how about administration?
You know, and knowing how things run. Boy, the Army, things run according to plan every day. Otherwise, you go to that hurt locker you mentioned. It just makes the most common sense thing in the world for me to say to folks, potential employers, veterans have a can-do attitude. They're reliable. They have the right experience, and they have the skills to get the job done.
And they're trainable. And hey, they're protecting our systems from cyber attacks from other countries.
Exactly right.
But anyways, vets are reliable, dependable, and they got the skills that we need. 80-something%, like you said. That's so true. And a lot of time, employers, they're just not educated. No one tells them what they bring to the table. So that's what the purpose of this show is, right?
Which is great.
Okay. When you think about it, food services, I met a chief who was a culinary specialist who actually did meals for the Chief of Naval Operations and occasionally filled in for the President.
Talk about highly trained.
Exactly, you know, and you got plumbers, carpenters, electricians. We have programs, hard hats, helmets to hard hats, things like that. Construction battalion, CBs.
There you go.
You know, information technology positions. All these military specialties can transition directly into a civilian job, and a lot of people miss that, I think. Now, an equally important question is, what do I want to do with the rest of my life? You know, look at the, for example, we have a Myers-Briggs type indicator.
Heard of that.
And amazingly, a 19 out of 19, they said that I got the highest score as an extrovert. Can you believe that? Me.
I'm stunned.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? Now, you look at these kind of assessments in these workshops, it's a self-assessment tool, and it helps you identify your job potential and your preferences. And it helps you better understand and apply these to career decisions that might affect you for the rest of your life. So stop, look, and listen before you run across that highway, right?
There you go.
And we have other skills assessment that are going to help you to discover or uncover the skills that you have. Now, and I thought about career development. Now, we were drilled in the 4 Ps, which is of marketing, which is product, place, price, and presentation. Mm-hmm. So you got to understand you're the product, right, and you have to self-promote yourself, if you will.
There you go.
Now, this self-marketing pitch workshop that we have is awesome. It's your 30-second pitch, and you learn to develop that self-marketing pitch so you can use it on the tee before the next stop. You already met somebody,
That's
right?
Great. That's great.
You'll examine a few of your success stories, and you'll illustrate some of your personal strengths that you can articulate, skills and attributes, and tell a story. And then you construct that self-marketing pitch before you leave so you can showcase your unique veteran traits and leadership that you have that you can bring to the marketplace. And like I said, practice makes perfect. So your pitch is done, and you receive input from the instructor on how well it went. You know, Ted, if you had a vehicle that was not working right? What are your options? You can either fix it, right? You can fix it yourself. You can bring it to a professional that has all the tools and the know-how to get the job done, right? That's it.
That's it, Charlie. And that's why I think your organization, the One-Stop Career Centers, are so critical to a program of assistance that you guys offer. You have the professionals in that facility.
We're kind of like a career car center, if you will, like the old hobby shops on base, right?
Exactly.
You know, we're that career care center. You know, on base, we always had the mechanics with the right tools to guide us and to help us fix our own cars. They were experienced, right?
And they're the right person for the right job.
And they literally gave you a lift,
exactly.
Right? Okay.
Right up to go.
You know, and they got you back on that road to success. And that's what it's all about. And you know, you have to be able to tell and sell yourself, and you have to have that know-how, and somebody has to show you how to feature all those features and benefits that you bring to the table. And you know, you need to answer that big question.
The biggest question.
Why should I hire you? That's what it's all about. I mean, you got to learn how to develop a resume. You want to be able to ace that interview, and we have workshops for that. And you want to develop an action plan. You know, what's the situation? What's your mission? How are you going to get there? How are you going to execute it? You know what I mean? In resume development, for example, we have a great workshop. You're going to be able to best market yourself with that marketing tool of the resume. And you're going to want to be able to feature your military accomplishments, your skills, but you got to take it from civilianese to militaryese, right?
That's correct.
And you have to use that powerful summary, and you have to basically, in less than 7 seconds, sum it up and catch their attention. You know what I mean? And also those achievement statements, you got to put them in action verbs. And you're going to learn about what we would like for veterans, the federal resume process. Civilians, we want 1 or 2 pages. Right. They want 14 pages for USA jobs, right? So you gotta, for a suitable federal employment, you've got to use their system, you know? And in electronic resumes, okay, that's a whole new animal. In that workshop, you're going to engage in a question and answer period, and you're going to discuss how those resume formats and the key words, which are very important, how you're going to be able to convert those into that electronic resume in, let's say, ASCII text. You ask me, I'm going to tell you.
Right.
Now, and how about applying online? 95% of the people, even McDonald's, they want you to apply online. Yes, consider, signing up for those popular ACE interview workshops where that facilitator presents methods and approaches to help you to discover how you can be successful in that all-important meeting, which is the interview, and learn how to sell yourself during that interview so you can get that career-fulfilling position, you know? And what else do we teach? We teach you how to manage that job search. You got to know where to begin, how to get, right? Very important. Is that important, you know? There's a variety of print and internet-based sources of labor market information out there, because you know, you want to find out, is there a job for me after I learn all these skills or I get all these skills? Am I going to be able to market myself? Are there jobs on the other side, you know? And you got to learn all those phases that you go through in the job search process, you know? And we give you a 10-point checklist for your job search so you know you're on track, right? Now, our Career Center seminar, that's like your welcome aboard workshop. In that, you're going to find out about resources and options available to you, including career guidance. Everybody needs a little bit of guidance now and then, right?
Yes, they do.
And how to access training that you might need to upgrade those skills. And it's all important. The most important thing is motivation. You know what I mean? Your self-esteem and your work attitude is very important. And how on that road to success, persistence pays. It's got to pay. Now hear this, okay? You've heard that before.
Yes, we have.
Are you motivated? I can't hear you. You got to be able to be enthusiastic. You got to be excited about something, especially on phone interviews. I'm going to give you a special tip. You heard it here first on the road to success. Okay, and I stole it, so does everybody else.
Yes.
It's true, and I've used it. To hear that motivation in your voice, stand up. Never take a phone interview sitting down. Have all your stuff spread out on the table, all your answers right there, and boom, you're going to go ahead and get that job because you're so enthusiastic.
That's correct.
And you can hear the smile in your voice, okay? And I ask my students, why do people hire you? And I told them, because they like you. That's why people hire you. Sure. So you got to smile. You got to show yourself friendly, okay? So if you're not presenting that way, people aren't going to hire ornery people and they can't get along with. No. You know, if you're not happy in your work, it's going to show. You're not going to be happy with yourself. Show. You know, because 80% of communication is through body language. You know, and only 7% is the words that we speak. So you got to be able to present that body language. Your attitude determines your altitude, and it's everything when you're on that road to success. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always gotten, right? I mean, it's true, all right? So always do a self-check. Do an attitude check on that attitude before you go in, all right? That persistence pays off on that road to success. A 1,000-mile journey, Grasshopper, starts with but the first step. My Marine Corps 25-year journey started on those yellow footprints, okay, on Parris Island. If I wasn't persistent, I wouldn't be where I am today. Right. I would never claim the title of the United States Marine, and I would never become a Master Sergeant 25 years later on my road to success, okay? Together, I will call the cadence, and I will help you to get where you want to go smartly and sharply, okay? Show me the money. Sure. Money is important in all of the stuff that we're talking about, but let me tell you about our computer classes. We have some awesome computer workshops. How about Microsoft PowerPoint? Get an overview of the fundamentals. How about Microsoft Word or computer practice labs where you get to actually practice it? You know, these are, I've just talked about a few of the things that we offer here at the Employment and Training Center. And all you have to do is pay attention, all right? So listen up, all right? Now, career one-stops throughout the state offer many of these same things, you know?
Well, and let me ask you that, Charlie, because it's important. If viewers want to learn more about the other workshops available at Norwood One Stop Shop, where can they go?
Well, I never thought you'd ask me. Okay, you can get directions right on our website, which is etrcc.com, and we're going to repeat these in the credits, and you can get the directions there. We're located physically at 275 Prospect Street in Norwood, Mass., and you can call us, and the phone's right on. You're going to see it on the screen, you know?
I anticipate some wide distribution of this program, Charlie. What about the veterans living north or south of Norwood?
Great. We have a newer facility that just is opening up. That's been recently new, and you can go right to Framingham, and the address is on the screen. It's a great pit stop for veterans on the road to success. Hey, Ted, I wanted to thank you for partnering with us so we can feature the career development benefits of our Career Center.
Charlie, thank you for all you do, and it's been a real pleasure traveling the road to success with a fellow vet.
Hoorah!
Semper Fi.